Hey everybody, thank you for joining me today. So today's video, we're going to be working on the technique that we did yesterday on our Technique Tuesday, but using it in or on an actual layout. So I've brought out the Willow Grove additional collection that Vicky Booten created with 49 and Market. It's the Halloween addition to, I guess you could say. And I've already cut my paper that's going to go across the middle. And now what we're doing is we're rubbing on all of the irresistibles that we're going to kind of spread about the layout. And all of these are different leaf patterns. Some of them have like little splatter bits with them. But we're just going to go around. I've already kind of laid them out. I cut them apart. And we're going to just start taking them off before we start doing the different layers with the actual stencil and the ink blending. So on this one is a bigger one. So I'm using my bigger bone folder and a combination of this stylus to try and get this one to come off a little bit. It was a lot more area. The flowers were a little bit more, or not flowers, the leaves take up a little less space, so I can do it with the stylus easier and then just pull it up. Now, if you guys didn't see the Technique Tuesday yesterday, this is coming from Vicky Booten's live on Saturday. She did this technique using the Irresistibles from 49 and Market. They are basically like embossed rub-ons. So when you lay them down on white, you can't see them until you use ink or something to color around it to make the white stand out. And she did this really cool technique using these with a stencil and layering ink on top. I have a couple of different ideas. I think the next time I do this, what I think will be good is if the area in which where you put the irresistible, to do a light blending of whatever like the color you're going to do, just a light coloring. It doesn't have to be super dark. You just want the irresistible to really stand out. And then once it really stands out, lay the stencil down and then use some color. So it'll almost be like a tone on tone quality. And that'll allow, I think, the stenciling on top to stay solid and not get kind of like smoothed out using um, by doing that first. But now that we're here, I'm gonna show you exactly what I did. So I have these three colors. We have Just Peachy, Cappuccino, and Lavender Kisses. And I'm going to start with Just Peachy. Now, you would think this is more of a peachier tone, but it kind of layers it kind of goes down more on that orangey side. So definitely more, not a peachy pink, but more of a peachy orange for sure. And I just added the different colors, a little bit of purple, because it's all kind of in that pattern paper that I have going across with the pumpkins and stuff. And so, yeah, you can run the risk of it being a little bit on the muddier side, but I just figured it would be really cool to kind of incorporate the three colors. Do you know what I mean? And all I'm doing is finding the tacky areas from the resist. And then we're going to lay down the stencil on top and lay down some color. I'm trying to start with the lightest first, which is to me the orangey, the peachy color, and then add the other tones on top. And you can get very muddy using purple and orange. That's a guarantee. But I think because of layering it lightly, it still allowed for that peach to have that orangey feel, and then you still have the purples and the browns. So, and if there's ever like a little line where it was too strong, then I just blend it with the brushes so that area would get a little bit lighter. And I tried using baby wipes to wipe off where the Irresistible is, but it was too wet. So I had to lay back down, add some more ink, especially where I just wiped it up, because yeah, it did not want to keep any of that down. So I put the baby wipe inside the paper towel and squeezed so that it would get a little bit wet, and then I kind of wiped along the Irresistible. Okay, so now I'm going to kind of flip it upside down. I know it's going to look weird, but I just felt like it was easier to do it this way than trying to reach across to do the very top part. It would be better to have it closer to me. And so I'm just laying down the leaves, making sure that it's facing the right way and that my Irresistible is definitely in the stencil area. And I really do believe this works with any type of stencil, you know. I think it gives it different qualities, obviously, depending on how open spaced it is. I feel like if it's less open space, it'll give you a different effect than if there's more area where you see more of the Resistible within the pattern of the stencil. I think that's why it works so well with the circle stencil that Vicky used on Saturday. But I've been having fun with these little ones, you know, and the area where the Resistible is, I, added a little bit more color, and then I would wipe off with the paper towel so that the Resistible kind of peeks out more, and then you still have elements of the stencil around it. So I like how this turned out. I'm not mad at this technique. I'm so glad I got to see her do it. And then it was like, this isn't one that I'm going to wait for. I'm just going to go ahead and start trying it myself. All right. Again, that layer with the peachy, then the purple, and then the last little areas with some of the brown. This would be a good stencil or a good color combo to use for Hocus Pocus too, if you had like a Hocus Pocus layout that you wanted to do. Yeah. And again, just those little areas so that it's not as defined. You have that color behind it will help bring out the Irresistible, but then you still have the pattern of the stencil all around. All right, and then we're going to put that across the middle. And since I knew this is where I wanted this to go, I'm just going to go ahead and start putting it down. If you are planning a layout and once you know the general shape, and maybe what you don't know is fully like where all the embellishment stuff is going to go, put down what you do, what you can. And then you can start to kind of lace things around, figure out what's going to work best where, and then add, take off. But if the pattern paper itself is definitely, I know that's going there. It's not moving from there. Just put it down. Now, for the photos, I am going to trim the photos down. What I have learned that I really like is if it's 3x4, I make my mats 3x4, and then I shorten my photos to be 2 3/4 by 3 3/4, and that gives me a nice border around the photo. Now with this one, with the with baby P being so close to the other side, I trimmed off the 1/4 inch on the opposite side, and I like that. I like the way. I always look for the spaces where there's a lot that I can lose. And if there's people or things in the picture, I try not to cut off any of like them if I can help it, basically. And for those of you who are just joining me, I do always like to remind people, listen, I do use tape and glue I believe in using tape and glue. I like the fact that the glue gives me a little bit of wiggle room, some time to be able to move some things around. So that's why I do both the tape and the glue. And then I was thinking, I was like moving some of this around. Do I want to put the pumpkin and the cat down here? I like this says best costume winner. And then I had a little tag we could put up there. And then I forgot, oh no, I had the 2 pumpkins because I wanted to put 2 on each side of the fence. Okay, we're still thinking, we're thinking. And I knew I wanted to use the flowers, or I keep saying flowers. They almost feel like a flower, but they're the leaves from the laser cuts. And then I have 2 clips that we're going to put on the photos. So I'm like, you know what? I'm just going to start by putting these down. I'm pretty sure about where I wanted my title to go, which is October Magic. And that's why I put that laser cut there to sort of give it a place to kind of hang on. Because sometimes you'll hear people say they want it to feel grounded, that it's not just floating randomly somewhere. And by putting it on that, I felt like it did that. And then once we put the fence down, we're going to go ahead and lay down the pumpkins. And then this one, it worked out so that way I could put the cat right on top of it, and there was enough space between the photos and the cat's head. And then on the other side, I'm going to do the 2 pumpkins. And then right below the pumpkin with the cat is a little bit of that Irresistible. So you see, a lot of times the background stuff that we do does tend to get covered. You do all this work and then you start laying everything out and you get peaks of it that are like coming out from a photo or a laser cut element or something like that. So I still love how the background comes out, and I love how those little moments just peek out here and there. And I just have my glass block on top of the photo and the elements we put on the side, so that way it would help for the glue to adhere. And then I'm going to move it over one more time. And then these are some of the sticker sheets. This is the sticker sheet, I want to say. But then I also have the laser cuts. I saved the tree maybe for another layout. And, oh, I love that spider web too. And there's all these different moments. And then at first I thought I might use a sticker. I think I grab it here. Is it here? Yeah, right there on the page. It says, carving the pumpkin. I was going to use that, but I decided not to. You'll see me take it off, and I think I like kind of, test it out, but then I'm like, nah, I don't like it. So I do wind up putting that back on the sticker sheet. But these 2 I'm going to put at the top of the photos. And then we're going to attach the clips to those. So it's like the clip is hanging to the word. And one of the words is pumpkin patch. And then the other one is farmer's market. I just thought it was so cute. And we'll start putting down the other leaves. And then I'm going to put that leaf, but I also got to get the other clip because I'm like, where's my second clip? I knew I had 2. There we go. All right. So really, that could be it. That could be the end of it. But I was looking at a few things and I'm like, dare I risk it? And I'm like, yeah, I'm going to risk it. So I grab out a crow and then I grab 2 bats. Because this isn't a necessarily spooky layout, but I still wanted some Halloween elements there. Because, I mean, you have the baby sitting in a pumpkin. Okay. As a pumpkin, it's just too cute. So we're going to go ahead and lay this down too. And then we're going to hit the bats. And I love how I put the crow like kind of hanging out on the tag. and then the final bat. And that's it. That's perfect. So now we're going to cut 2 pieces down to basically, wow, where's my brain? 2 pieces to cover up the photo because it's my favorite time.
What time is it? It's splatter time. It's splatter time.
All right, so we all know we're gonna go ahead and hit the entire project with this because one of the freebies we got during our weekend was this mica stain that I just showed you that I splattered with first. This is the Burning Ember, beautiful orange. Then I hit it with black, and at the last minute I wasn't going to, but then I was like, nah, I'm gonna hit it with some white too. So usually I always use black and white and then like a sparkle or shimmer, something like that on the third color. I was tempted. I was gonna use a different spritz, like I was going to grab gold, but I decided not to grab gold. Just do the orange and the black and the white, and I think that's perfect. And I'm going to hold it up close here so you can see the resistables peeking out. It's such a fun technique. You guys have got to try this technique, okay? And let me just say, thank you so much for being here with me. If you have any questions, comments, leave them down below. Please consider giving the video a thumbs up and subscribe if you haven't already. And I would look forward to seeing you guys with our next video. All right, y'all. Have a great week.